And I just want to know, like, what can I do to be that?
Let's see here.
I mean, I'm recording the Sixers game right now on my DVR. You know, that's what I'm into.
Oh, okay. Well, let me explain. We've got a guy in our community who is a NASCAR driver. And he wants to, like, it's expensive. I don't know if if you realize this, but driving, getting into one of the races is expensive. He does have a car. His car doesn't have a very good engine in it, but he does have a car. And what he was looking for is the entrance fee to do 2 races. No, actually just one. He wanted to do Talladega, and he was able to do Talladega if he could raise $25,000. That was the entrance fee.
Gabe is the most boring human
which is a lot. Now, people in this community who are the people that we make fun of here, Gabe, they were telling him, why don't you just sell your house for the entrance fee? And being kind of rude, rather than associate with me, man of Christ, like I am as it were, a saint. Why associate with him? Why don't you just sell your house? He chose a more sane route, and he decided to ask me if I would crowdfund so that he could be in the race. This is my character, Cyberfrog, on the car. And that's the deal. So we raise the money, people donate. I'm making a little reprint Cyberfrog comic that's going to go out. It's kind of like, remember when you would donate to PBS, like, for $300.
Like the mug or something, and the T-shirt.
It's always like, wait a second. Well, you get a comic book if you donate $25 to this. And we were able to raise over $100,000. So we were able to pay for 2 races. We're making little Matchbox cars, miniature Matchbox, not Matchbox brand, but something like a diecast car version of this for people who supported the campaign. And he's going to go to Talladega. So we're working on the wrap right now. It's got my branding on it, and it should be awesome. Now, all right, let me get rid of this, and let's take a look at you. First of all, I have to say, you reached out to me as somebody who is the producer of An Open Secret, which is a movie that I watched 5-6 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was angered by it. I was infuriated by it. An Open Secret is a movie that exposes the pedophiles in satanic pedophile Hollywood. Do you agree with that term? What do you think of the term satanic pedophile Hollywood?
God, he's on it. Come on, fire.
You know, I don't really get into the whole theology of it, to be honest, but I can see where people are coming from, that, something that is against what is good is satanic, and being a pedophile is one of the worst things you could be, besides killing somebody. So, yeah, I mean, it's satanic.
What do you think's worse? Do you think like raping a child is worse than murder?
It's a close second. I mean, you murder a child's soul. There's no question about it. I don't know if you ever spent time with, somebody in real life who's had that happen to them, but if you have, then you'd understand.
Yeah.
It's real.
Well, I watched the movie. I got to say it was great because Bryan Singer was one of the guys that you targeted there. Bryan Singer, of course, was the director of Superman Returns, but before that, the X-Men movies. And what did you uncover about Bryan Singer?
Well, so things that are related to like X-Men that were like little nuggets, maybe start there.
Okay, that's on their end. That's not on
mine.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched the version on YouTube that was like pirated, that was the rough cut, or if you watched like the final one that we put out on Vimeo.
I watched it on the internet. So I maybe it was Vimeo, but I don't remember.
So in X-Men 2000, there was a kid named Alex Burke. And there's a short scene that we show where it's like 30 seconds. So this, 18-year-old kid gets in X-Men.
Why does he not have a microphone?
30-second scene in a classroom where he
what a
opens
boomer.
his hand up and there's like a little fireball and then it just goes away. And that's it. And it's really weird because it doesn't fit with the story arc of the whole film. And typically, like, people who have superpowers that they show, they're like main characters, right? It was just a throwaway role. And he's never been in anything before or since. Well, it turns out that he was also one of 3 kids who ended up suing this pedophile front company, which was called DEN, Digital Entertainment Network. And basically, it was a front company that they were acting like they were Netflix before Netflix. They really couldn't be, but it was run by guys, including somebody named Mark Collins Rector. who basically just got underage kids in Hollywood over to the mansion and drugged and raped. Investors in that company, we exposed all of them in a film. They included people like Bryan Singer, like Michael Huffington, the former congressman in California. David Geffen was an investor.
Pause for 1 minute, Gabe. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The chat is complaining about your microphone. Yeah, like either you need to get closer to it, or are you coming through the right audio?
I don't know.
No, you're coming through your camera, I think. Do you have a microphone?
I'm a bit of a boomer, but this is supposed to be hooked up to, that's supposed to be my audio with a built-in mic. Let me see if
what an idiot.
I can do something on my end to, oh, wait a second. Is that better?
No.
It's turned up the sound a bunch.
It's the same.
This guy's such a, look,
I don't
look
know.
at
Do you
this
have
creep.
so you're talking into a camera with a built-in microphone, I guess.
A
Probably.
a laptop, probably.
I'm speaking into Beats headphones.
Okay. Listen, we'll have to just put up with it, Gabe. I don't know. You should get a nice microphone set up.
We'll make totally. I'm not. I don't do this stuff all the time. I got to get a better setup. I'll just try to speak a little more loudly. Is that better?
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. So yeah, there was that scene with the kid. He opens his hand. There's fire in his hand. Now, it's interesting. He was just a mutant at school or something like that. It went over most people's heads. It was okay that there was, a mutant in school with a special power, but you traced him back to belonging to something called Den, which has something to do with what? I mean, Digital Entertainment Network. It was called. I remember seeing this and it was kind of peculiar.
So, Digital Entertainment Network Den was basically a front company that Hollywood pedophiles started, where they had a mansion and they used it to drug and rape kids. Simple as. One of the 3 kids who ended up suing was the kid that you see with that little bit part that doesn't make any sense in X-Men. And It turns out that Bryan Singer invested in, was friends with, and introduced the 2 co-founders of Den to each other. And we document all that in the film. So we basically, in the film, built a pedophile ring around Bryan
built a
Singer.
pedophile ring.
You made it appear as though, did you prove that like he was the guy who was
sent $1
running it or behind the pedophile ring? Were you able to do that? I mean,
couldn't even throw in your old snowball mic.
It's a tough thing.
Cheap bastard, fat man.
True.
For somebody who had those terrible things happen to them, to actually go on camera and show their face and tell their real name, that's like really daunting. He had
Trust the plan.
Douglas Dauntless says he was naming powerful people. Ethan stopped him. I didn't. I honestly didn't. I'm looking at the chat, and the chat's saying they can't hear him. Name the powerful people. I'm not in anyone's way here at all. I love the documentary, and I thought that the website was also good. I've communicated with the website a couple of times to just say thanks for the good work that you're doing. There's nothing more heinous than pedophilia.
Wow.
You okay?
Oh, well, thank you. So we didn't get his actual victims, like the direct victims in the film. They didn't want to go on camera, but we knew who they were. And then we got them, once we had all the buzz with the film.
Johnny said $3 how many years has Gabe tried to be an internet guy? He can't get a good make. Fuck this idiot.
It's true.
And there was a big expose in the Atlantic that was like 30 pages long that, detailed all that. And some other things too. So we got it done just with some help through a different medium a little later.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm not. Am I a bad interviewer? I'm just. He's talking. I'm okay. I'm not interrupting at all. Not at all. I certainly. Okay. People are saying name names. Are their names
revolting on you?
I know they are, because I'm listening to them, and they're saying they can't hear you, and so I stop you to say they can't hear you, and now they're mad at me for interrupting about naming. I'm protecting the pedophiles. I must be. That must be what's going on here. Protecting Hollywood. I'm on the payroll.
I'm not looking at the chat. Are they still complaining that they can't hear, or is it better?
I think they're just getting used to the situation. Yeah,
okay.
It is what it is. Okay. Anyway, okay, so I'm glad that you're here. I like the stuff that, I like the topic. I like the movie that you made. We had a little issue because I looked at what, like you said, I'm the producer of this film. And then I went, oh, okay, cool. Come on. If you want to talk, let's talk. And then I looked at your Twitter. Your Twitter is all about Ethan Ralph. So it looks like, Gabe, you're a little bit of a troll yourself. Would you cop to that?
I mean, look, there's some nobody who they randomly came after me on the internet a little over a year ago and still does. And on my personal Twitter, I shitpost about him a little bit. But yeah, look, I had to tar wrangle you a little bit and say I don't have a hidden agenda here, and I'm not coming on to talk about some nobody.
Well, you do have a hidden agenda, though. You did want to come in here and talk about something other than your movie, which is the whole thing. See, I'm somebody who, the whole thing about it is that I'm somebody who will talk. I'm happy to have a conversation. You wanted to talk about Comicsgate. You wanted to. That
wasn't hidden. That was that was my number 2 thing.
Okay. Yeah, and then the Saska sisters and all that. I'm happy to do that. I just didn't know what you wanted, and so when I saw your thing about, here's what I'm going through right now, Gabe, just so you understand. The Gamergate guys, okay, that whole segment which came before Comicsgate would like to drag me into a conversation about the Gamergate guys, and make me a part of that situation. I'm avoiding that because I don't know these guys. These guys have been on YouTube longer than me. I don't want to talk about Ethan Ralph. I don't want to talk about these guys, Andy Worski. I don't want to, but I think they're, they would like me to, certain elements. So I thought that was you for a minute, but you're saying that's not you.
Ethan, all I can say is that you assume, and you know what assume stands for, but, we tard wrangled a little and we straightened it out. It's all good.
Tard wrangled? You think I'm retarded?
No, not at all. You just, it's
he uses words.
I'm just busting your chops a little, man.
Michael's here. He says, tell this guy about Fatrick and his creep friends. Do you know who Fatrick is?
Fatrick? I got no idea.
Patrick S. Tomlinson? You don't know who that guy is?
I think I heard. Is he the guy who wants to sue the world?
Well, the people who are harassing him on the internet, yeah, he wants to sue them. They're anonymous. There's an anonymous club of people who would like to bother him. And he is he's suing them, but he's annoying on the internet. And this is, for example, like this.
Lucas sent this in. A 42-year-old man. He said, Jim, look at this fat dork in his 40s calling presents prezzies. He's an absolute disgrace that spends all of his time on Twitter and playing with toys as an adult. Truly an embarrassment of a man. So this 42-year-old man post. Anyway, happy 42nd to me. Already opened prezzies and gotten dozens of messages from friends and family.
Let me let him out
later.
I need to. Well, you'll see. Come on.
So who is talking in the video?
You mean
a comedian?
Have dinner
the
later?
Person who's talking is
That's good that you put that in there because I bet you a lot of
Jim
people are wondering.
is?
I go, hey, it's his 42nd birthday. I wonder if he's going to have dinner later. When is he going to have dinner? Is he going to have it at 5 o'clock? Is he going to have it at 8 o'clock?
There are many examples of that's the first thing that I pulled up. All right, so anyway, but you've got a thing with Ethan Ralph. Is Ethan Ralph the nobody that you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, come on. What is it? 300 people
watching Ethan Ralph suddenly. Hey, how you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Mr. Van Skyver?
This is Gabe Hoffman. This guy's a critic of yours.
Yeah, I know. Guess. You were talking about how great his movie is. Well, a couple of the subjects involved with the movie didn't think it was so great. I don't know if you saw that. Do you know Evan Henze
I haven't seen it. No, I don't know anything. I'm here. I'm like in the dark. I don't really know what's going on between you guys.
Well,
I have no idea.
Who's Evan Henze? What's the situation there?
Did you ever watch the film?
No, I don't bother with trash like that.
So then you don't know anything.
Well, I'm reading the Huffington Post article where you made up a fake rumor about him using drugs. You called his father and left a voicemail with a fake rumor about him using drugs. Another subject of the movie, his name is Chris Turcotte, called the documentary unfair and dishonest. It made about $300 at the box office. The director didn't support it.
I didn't do it for the box office, Ethan.
So what about Evan Henze?
I know that. Yeah, I agree with you.
What about Evan Henze?
Ethan, I'm the only guy in the world.
No.
Whoever ends the career.
Answer the question. Well, you didn't end Bryan Singer's career. He's in Israel right now. He fled to Israel, and he is the toast of the town in Tel Aviv.
You would know something about fleeing your home country, wouldn't you?
No,
so look,
I wouldn't actually.
Speak with you, Ethan.
Where is Bryan Singer right now, Gabe?
speak about Ralph.
Is he in Israel or is he not?
We're talking about Comicsgate.
What about Evan Henze? Why don't you want to answer the question about Evan Henze and your false accusation that he used drugs and you called his father? He was a subject of your film, Gabe. Why can't you defend your film?
I'm not engaging with this guy.
Why can't you defend your film? You defend the satanic Saska sisters, but you won't answer any questions about your own movie?
Film to idiots who never saw it. Okay?
Why will you not? This is in the Huffington Post. There's media articles about you making up lies about a subject of your film and threatening to sue him and ruin his life. Why won't you answer the fucking question?
There's literally one article. I have an 87% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't give a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes or anybody else in Hollywood. What about Evan Henze? He was in your film. You threatened to sue him. You called his father on the phone and harassed him.
Hey, Ethan.
Did that happen or not?
You talking to me or him? We're both Ethans.
You can call me Mr. Ralph, is what you can call me, Gabe. Now, did you do that or not, Gabe? Did you do that or not, Gabe?
EVS, if you want to have a conversation.
He won't answer the question.
All right, Ethan Ralph, thank you for coming in.
Yes, you see that
I thought he should have his say. I saw your timeline, and your timeline on Twitter is nothing but harassing him about his personal life, talking about his fucking debts to his spouse and things like this. Is none of your business. Did he fuck kids? Like, what are you doing?
Well,
so your entire timeline is busting his balls. About stuff that's okay. So if you can do that, you know, then he should maybe get a chance to come in here and answer you. That's all.
So number one, he started shit with me first. Number two, you should act like a professional. And you should say, listen, I want to have this guy on, and you know, I would say,
oh, you mad?
Okay, you know, and we would agree to it. You wouldn't act like a scumbag and just bring somebody on.
Well, who cares? Listen, this is a YouTube show called Trashcast, Gabe. Where do you think you are? You're sitting there talking about this guy nonstop on his Twitter, and you should be able to answer him. That's my opinion. You should be able to answer him about that stuff. And you came on my show and you said you wanted to talk about your movie, and really that doesn't seem to be your agenda. Your actual agenda had to be sussed out. You know, honestly, I'm somebody who I would like it if you would just say, you know what, Ethan, I want to talk to you about the Saska sisters. I want to talk to you about Eric July and Comicsgate. Say, I want to debate you about that stuff. You came at me like you wanted to talk about your film, and there was a whole other agenda there that I wouldn't have known. I would have brought you on here to talk about the film, and then you would have sandbagged me with whatever your real agenda is. So there you go. This is what this show is. It says serious drama farming, Friday night trash.
You're absolutely punked.
This is not CNN. This is not Fox News.
Do I get to answer you now?
Yes.
Okay. So look, number one, I approached you like a professional with respect, and I said, hey. And
also we're ahead because I'm still in the backstage.
And I said, number one, you introduce yourself, and you say, this is what I've done. Does this have crossover?
Now let me go live here so it matches.
Does this have crossover? Are you interested in it? Which is my film and all that. And then number two, I said, I want to talk. I've seen some of what you said, and I'm interested in talking about Comicsgate and Eric.
So let's talk about that now. Let's shift gears and talk about what you came here to talk about. I don't think what just happened to you was unfair at all. I think if you're sitting there, I mean, it's not as though you're talking about Ethan every 5 seconds. I mean, or every week or so. It's your entire mentions are his.
Okay, I didn't interrupt you, and now you're going to interrupt me. You're not even going to let me finish.
He's mad.
My show. All right, go ahead.
Anonymous says $25 excellent work from both that ends.
So I wrote you what number one was and what number two was. I said,
thank you, sir. Also, that's their connect. That's not me.
And I said, this is what I was interested in. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like I had to write you a freaking book and say, well, I'm friends with the Saska sisters, and I probably got an opinion on this or that, because you know what? I'm not a comics guy. I don't.
Then why are you here on a Comicsgate show?
Because I've done some research. I know a few things.
Oh, okay.
I see what you said, and I had a few questions for you that would help form that opinion. Maybe it would turn into a debate. Maybe.
Okay, that's there. That's not me. Thank you, James.
James Gartner sent $5 on Rumble.
Is that fair?
Amazing.
Thank you, sir.
It isn't fair because
you can call me Mr. Ralph, Gabe.
Yeah, but now that you're here and we had this problem, like, and it's over with now. I feel like I feel like Ralph got to say what he. Ralph isn't even. Ralph isn't someone I interact with much at all, but it's like...
True. Also, I don't know whose internet that is. That's not mine.
I feel like he got to say something to you that maybe he wanted to say.
Yeah, I did.
Let's move on from that. Let's talk about what you want to say to me
mad.
now. What are you here to say to me?
So my basic level.
That's their connect, not mine. Let me catch back up to live.
You know that in comics, that's what has happened over the last several years. Generally speaking, is that a you know?
No, I mean, Comicsgate isn't that. Comicsgate is the fact of the matter is that left-wing progressive activists have taken over comics. They've really implemented themselves. They've placed themselves in high positions in comics, and they gatekeep conservatives. If you express conservative opinions, you're out. And most of us just want to make comics. I'm not here to fuck around. I'm just here to make some comic books. That's what I want to do with my life. So because I was
not my, maybe it's Gabe's connection.
I mean, I was canceled.
I don't know.
I wasn't fired. I was canceled. Okay, the way like Gina Carano was canceled. Because of that, I've had to make my own way.
Gabe,
I've
you suck.
an
Log off.
autistic
Somebody
daughter.
just said in
I
the
got
chat.
2 Jewish kids, and that's right. And I got to take care of them, and it doesn't matter. Like these politics, you know, you don't like it that Trump got elected. I don't give a fuck. I got to take care of my kids, and this is what I do. I was put here to make comics. So Comicsgate is using the internet. It uses social media. It uses crowdfunded platforms to make it so that anybody can make comic books. Anybody, regardless of their politics. Creative freedom is what Comicsgate's all about. Politics come like far second to that, distant third to that. It's mostly about people just being able to continue to make comic books and tell stories without having to appeal to, you know, the radical left and progressives in the industry.
Okay, great. Look, I agree. I've been a conservative my whole life. People can look up my donations. I've supported Republicans, and I'm on board with all that. I saw some of your comments about, you know, the Soska sisters, and so I was curious.
I got that one in too. The satanic.
They did do
Soska
something
sisters.
previously in the comics world, right? They did.
I knew he would do
Marvel,
that. By the way,
Black Widow, the No Restraints play.
We're reading this right now. So yeah, we want to have an opinion about this. I don't know about. I'm not sure about their ability to write. That's not in question here. So I'm reading their book so that you know that.
Is there anything that's particularly SJW that you've seen about that, or that is representative of, you know, the ideas that you're expressing in Comicsgate?
No, I mean, not so far. I'm only 5 pages into the book. I mean, I just don't have time to sit down and read. I really have to like take 2 hours to read a graphic novel like this, and try to do that when you have kids running around the house and things like that. It's not
Gabe
easy.
is just terrible.
But I am going to do it. I'm going to read it. It's not about the content of the books that SJWs present initially, activists present. They come in and they love bomb the industries that they
I could have went personal, but I decided to attack his movie because that's what he uses for credibility, and it's a complete fraud, the entire film. And I didn't want to get too, you know, into the anti-Zionist thing because I know it's EVS's channel, it's YouTube. But I think I did a pretty good job, honestly.
And making changes in it from the top down.
So I haven't, I mean, look, without giving everything away, just the, you know, basic description is Black Widow No Restraints play. It's about the lead character taking out a pedophile ring that, you know, sells terrible, you know, rape and torture of children on the dark web. Like, to me, that sounds pretty freaking base. It doesn't sound SJW. It actually is innovative. And, you know, like, if I'm going to be a critic of the Soska sisters in the comics world.
This guy's just always...
In the comics world, that would be the primary thing.
Terrible.
The most relevant thing to focus on is their work? Is there something representative of the actual work they've done? You know, representative of pushing SJW values.
Well, let me ask you something. Was there anything about pedophiles in X-Men 1 or 2? Was your guy, what's his name, pushing pedophile, child rape values in any of the movies that he produced in Hollywood? Is that how you identified that problem?
Yeah, he said he created a pedo ring. He did say that.
No.
Right. So that's not necessarily how it works, is it? You don't sit there and judge the work and go, oh, it's transparently obvious what this person's actual agenda with
Gabe
the power
Hoffman is not that smart.
Is it?
So maybe a little bit of history might be helpful. A quick example, something else, that in about 2018 or 19, there was a mistake with Twitter 1.0, and the Soska sisters actually got their account
Let's
suspended.
go.
James,
I know.
Boy, Vay shut
So
it
I
down,
went
sent
to
$5
a friend of
on
mine
Rumble.
at the time,
W.
Jack
Ralph.
Sobick at
Thank
American
you.
News.
I told you guys to stay
That's the
tuned. I know it was
most
a dry spell there, but of
TV
course I knew what
thing
was about
there
to
is.
happen. So
And, the
without
Soska
giving
sisters
him a
went on there
complete
to
heads
talk
up,
about
I wanted to
censorship and what
kind of
happened
give
with
a
Twitter and
wink
whatever. And I guess
there.
if I thought somebody was an
Some people
SJW,
probably could tell what was
I don't
about to
think they'd
happen.
be showing up
Hopefully.
on somewhere like OAN.
Thank you for that.
And I
They
know they
would.
took a lot. Well, they took a lot of shit from a lot of their left-wing fans for showing up on OAN at the time. I remember that.
Sure.
This is the guy who wants to debate Fuentes, by the way.
SJWs don't go places where they're already welcome. They go
I didn't know I was going on until 7:40.
They aren't welcome. They sneak in. They use
Imagine if I'd had a week prep on this guy.
They love bomb. They use all various methods to go where they aren't already so that they can make changes. The best thing in the world that they could do right now, if they could infiltrate Comicsgate, they certainly would. They haven't been able to, because you know who gatekeeps Comicsgate is the fans. It's not me. Like, I'm not going to hire anybody like that. You know, I'm just not going to. I'm not going to hire the Soska sisters. I'm not going to hire any SJWs. Any woman who says she is a feminist is not going to work for me, because I don't want those values working their way, not just into my comics, but into my company. So that's not going to happen. And the fans gatekeep SJWs here. But you've got a big company called Rippaverse, run by a black conservative, who was all over Fox News, who's getting all kinds of credit, all kinds of stuff like that, invading that space. And you'll put on any pretense you need to in order to do that. You want to make changes there. That's where you want to make changes. You don't want to go where you're expected. You want to go where you can actually create a revolution, a little miniature revolution.
Okay. So are there specific things that the Soska sisters have done in their work or in their past or personally that you believe is emblematic of this, you know?
A Smaster 33 cent $1 on Rumble.
SJW,
Ralph, a coin is rising. Other coins not so much.
Canceling people for their political views.
I wish I'd have had a little more prep for it.
No, I think they've been canceled themselves.
But I really wanted to attack his film. You know, I could have went more personal, but I wanted to hone in on how his film's garbage. He's citing Rotten Tomatoes. Have you ever seen it? No, I don't want to see it. It's completely discredited.
For that, and I think that's a good thing. I'm not going to say the Soska sisters are
I'm going to try to catch up live. That's their feed doing that, not mine.
About how the Soska sisters are mysteriously hanging out with like the alt-right. They're getting too comfy with the alt-right, which are fascinating.
Thank you.
But Gabe, I don't know everything about them.
I appreciate that.
I really don't.
You knew enough
I'm learning about them, and I'm looking at some of the material that they produced. I'm judging their art from the past. I find it to be sadistic. I find it to be dark. They're
independent horror films. I mean,
horror, right?
American Mary is like a classic. Dead Hooker in a Trunk is a classic. Look, they got chosen by David.
Why have I never heard of these classics?
Austin sent $3. Big time players make big time plays.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I see. Look, you may not like the independent, horror genre, but within that genre, they seem like very accomplished,
he's totally outclassed.
Successful, story writers, not based on anything SJW or weird, just based on what they did.
I think that their values are probably in 180-degree opposition to the values of the people who are supporting Rippaverse.
And I think that evidence of this.
I think that people seeing those movies, I think people actually responding to, they don't know who the Soska sisters are. I think people seeing that stuff, I think they're reacting to it. Most of them are Christians, and they don't like that. They don't like flirting with Satanism, which is what we see here. They're the dark shit with Lucifer Valentine, Gabe. It's
supposed to be horror. That's the point. If it was all nice and good, it wouldn't be a horror film.
Yeah, he does look like somebody would sell you
who Lucifer Valentine
a fucking shitty-ass car.
I mean,
a lemon, yeah, like somebody said in chat.
Idol, their director, they called him a god, and he was fucking his own sister, and she killed herself, and they.
His art, not him as a person. Look, 3 days ago you said they were anti-Christian, lesbian, pornographers, and I'm just wondering where's the evidence for any.
Oh, well, they were kissing each other, so that's lesbianism, and they made sex films.
They did. They did a shock jock photo. Ooh, please.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't kiss Mersh. Remember Mersh?
God.
That was, if I kissed Mersh for a shock jock thing, you would say that's pretty fucking gay. You'd say Ethan's gay, wouldn't you?
Well, you're a guy and they're girls and they're in a certain genre. It's a little different. They're in a performative genre.
I mean, this is a performative.
Did you put
Mersh in there?
Take stuff away from him? Did you work to get him to platform?
Put Mersh in there.
Did you?
Do you really want to talk about an absolutely irrelevant nobody? I mean, I'm happy to.
Do it.
I would bet 90% of the audience has no idea who Mersh is, but if you want to talk about it, it's fine.
Bring him in!
Do you want to talk to Mersh?
Yeah!
No, I don't want to talk to Mersh.
You don't want me to bring Mersh in here to ask you why you took, you tried to deplatform him and make it difficult for him to make a living?
I did no such thing.
See, what I'm describing to you is SJW behavior. Yes! This is what I'm saying happens with SJW. You want me to bring Mersh in here and you could tell him that he's a nobody who probably deserves to have that happen to him?
Bring him in!
2 minutes? You give me 2 minutes, I'll tell you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Bring him in!
After my film went viral,
God, this is a masterclass.
October 17, it ended Bryan Singer's
This is a masterclass.
All over the world, including I went on InfoWars. He saw me on InfoWars. I have my DMs open. He messaged me. He asked,
this is fucking a masterclass.
Like maybe 500 subscribers. I kind of said,
a doll wolf sent $1 on Rumble.
Weeks went by.
Today is the best day ever.
These messages.
Dude, it really is the best day ever. It's the real best day ever.
Now, it would really help. He, says he was a victim of child sex abuse, unfortunately. He said that publicly. I'm not outing him. He asked, he begged, he pleaded. He said, come on our little show. A few weeks later, I made the time. I called in for a half hour. I retweeted it. I boosted it.
He's building it up like a Batman villain.
He said, keep me up on things that are going on with child sex abuse in Hollywood. There was a lot of news breaking. It was a topic he was interested in. I said, okay, fine. I figured this guy's just starting out. He needs all the help he can get. Seems like a decent guy. I'll send him a news article every now and then. I'll let him know what's going on, right? A few months go by. The thing with James Gunn happens. A few months go by. He asked me about Dan Schneider, the producer, the big guy at Nickelodeon, had a lot of stuff going on. He wanted to do something. I told him how there was a bunch of pedophiles who'd gotten arrested at Hollywood who worked on Dan Schneider's stuff. I gave him all the links. I helped him.
It's been 2 minutes. Bring in Mersh.
He made his first video that got like 100,000 views. It was a big deal for him. I was happy to help. Few months
Gabe is struggling.
Summer 2018.
James Gartner sent $1 on
James
Rumble.
Gunn stuff happens.
Gabe,
just
done.
like anything else.
Fucking
I let
done.
Mersh know this is what's going on. He didn't agree with it. I didn't argue with him. Nothing. I just said, okay, this is what's going on. I'm watching the UFC. It's a Saturday night. Somebody sends me a link, and I don't know what the problem was, but he starts, and there's a video clip.
Then he built him up by saying he loved his movie. That's what he loves hearing more than anything.
Hating on me for being Jewish, my faith. My faith is something I take seriously as a conservative, as somebody who practices my faith. I don't bring up other people's faith. I don't attack people on the basis of faith. But he's saying all this crazy shit.
Bring him in!
I just put it out there that, this is a hateful, crazy person. I never did nothing to him.
That's complete lie.
That's it. Look, Ethan, I could have sent that clip to my attorney and told him to go to all the payment processors and all that stuff and gotten him completely off of everything.
Did you go to his payment processors? Did you go to people who were sponsoring him and get his sponsors canceled?
Zero.
He did that to me?
Today, in 2024, he still has his Patreon, his PayPal, all that shit, okay? Those are facts. Now, months went by, and I don't watch his show. I could give a shit less.
Lie.
But people that I don't follow would DM me, and they would say, oh, the guy was crying about you for an hour today. Oh, the guy was crying about you for a half hour the other day. And I'm thinking to myself, that's why I'm getting all these random people coming at me, hating me for me on my faith on my Twitter. Oh, that's why there's an alt account that Mersh runs that I know is Mersh runs because it's got 10 tweets on it and 9 of them are promoting the show, and then the next 3 are coming in my mentions about me being Jewish, this, that, and the other thing. And after several months went by of this shit, and I didn't say nothing and I didn't do nothing, I said, you know what? What's the one way I can punch back to get this guy to just stop? Because he's going on like a teenage girl for apparently hours at a time, all the time, about me. What can I do to punch back to get him to stop? I said, you know what? He's living in Royce's house. He doesn't have a car. I feel bad for this guy. I don't know what his problem is. He's got drug and alcohol issues. You know what I'll do? He's still got the Revenge of the Cis Twitter. He'll always have that. I'll hit his personal Twitter. It won't affect his ability to make an income. He'll still have his PayPal, Venmo,
this is
all that
complete trash.
Finally, punch
so you report his Twitter
and say, listen, you know, this has been
well,
6 months.
What about you bullying Ethan Ralph nonstop? Should he take something away from you? Does he have the right to do that? Like you're still going on about him several times a day? Does he have the right to do something to you?
Can I answer your question about Mersh?
Sure, go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering if I answered that to your satisfaction.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know because I don't know the whole situation. You could ask Mersh himself. If you wanted to ask Mersh, I would bring Mersh in here and you could explain to him what's going on here. See, I don't like conservatives who actively cancel other conservatives. I don't like that. I don't care what your religion is. You know, I respect Jews. Obviously, I was married to one. I have 2 Jewish children. That's not an issue with me. You're not going to be able to call me an anti-Semite, okay? That's not who I am. I just don't like when conservatives cancel other conservatives. I think it's the worst thing in the world, especially since we're hugely underdogged in society right now. And I understand some problems happen and things like that, but when you go to try to make it so somebody can't make a living, I don't like that. I just don't like it. And that's what I sense about you. That's what I see that you're kind of doing here, and I don't know why you're doing it. I mean, you took out Bryan Singer, you took out some like really dangerous people. So how about if you just stick to the dangerous people and leave conservatives alone? What do you think of that?
Well, maybe I got tired of what Mersh was doing after 6 months, you know.
Well, what about Ethan Ralph? When does Ethan Ralph get to be tired of you?
Okay, well, guess what? I never interacted with the guy. People can look on my Twitter prior to August of 22. I never mentioned the guy's name once, okay?
Okay,
wait. He came after me. Never mentioned his name. He starts saying all kinds of shit. Then I get a message that this guy who's never seen my film, you know, I answered back, and people can look at what my answers were in August of 22. I said, dude, I don't have a problem with you, but you don't want any of this. Just leave me alone. Stop barking at me, okay?
I hear you.
That's what I said. I get a message that this guy, then he goes on his internet show. He's all enraged and whatever. And people can look on the Kiwi Farms. They can find the summary. 22. Because I had nothing to do with it. Somebody watched it, and, you know, people summarize the
He
show,
is
okay?
struggling.
Yeah.
And this guy, apparently, he went on for a half hour attacking my faith, which has nothing to do with anything, calling me, of all people, a Jeffrey Epstein type, saying that I'm a pedophile and shit like that.
I didn't say he was a pedophile. I said I was curious.
Whatever. And then
God, their connect is fucking up.
I wondered who the hell this crazy guy is. And I went to YouTube.
Fuck! No!
Casino guys. What do you mean who they are?
and after Ethan Ralph did what he did, I just said, well, who the hell is this crazy person? I went to YouTube, I typed in his name, and it pulled up their shows, and, you know, they were an internet drama show that made fun of him. And I throw him a $20 super chat every now and then. That's it.
Wrong.
That's the way things were for a long time. And then all of a sudden, October comes around with Hamas doing what they did in Israel.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I hear that this guy, this Ethan Ralph, is barking on Twitter and on his show, saying all kinds of shit that I'm not even going to repeat, that have to do with, like, me, my family, the shit that happened in Israel.
That's not true.
And I said, you know what? That's fucked up. That's more than enough. And you know what? I'm going to punch back. And guess what? I don't hide behind anything. I'm transparent. If I report something, I say it's me. I reported it. And this is what I did. I don't freaking lie about anything.
Gabe, you know, you said in the message to me, you said, are you man enough to face me? Are you man enough to face Mersh? Yes or no?
I don't want to deal with that guy. He's like a...
Well, I don't want to deal with you. You don't have anything to do with Comicsgate. You're not here to make me any money. I don't know why we're talking. You want to talk about the Saska sisters and say that I said some weird things about them? I mean, I don't know. How do you explain this? What is this here? Saska sisters taking pics from the Luka Gore rape van of twin little boys on the street. So cute. That's legit twinning. What are they doing in the rape van taking pictures of other people's kids?
Good question.
Are you concerned about this? Is this a concern of yours? You're here to justify these two to me?
I have no idea what the context of that tweet is, but I know that your buddy Vito has tweeted 20 different things that are way worse.
Vito's not my buddy. Vito's just somebody on the space. You know, he's floating around here. I don't take responsibility for him. I don't know what he's about. I don't talk about him. I mean, he's just Vito. People use him to attack me. But I'm just saying, what is this? These are your friends.
I'm going to send $10. I'm related up the Raptor strikes again. Only a matter of time.
You got criticisms of the Saska sisters.
Oh, it cut out. Hold on, let me play it again.
They're one thing.
No, Stone.
He gets what he deserves.
Oh, I don't know.
Stone Cold, no.
I've only read 5 pages. They're great.
Hold on, let me play that again. It messed up.
I'm not talking about that.
Giga Ninja. To connect, no.
This is comics. That seems what matters is the work they put out.
You know what? It still goes with this.
No, it isn't. My concern is that they're going to take a space and they're going to gatekeep more conservatives out. And then they're going to hire people like you who
cancel anyone. Give me an example.
I don't know. I don't know them that well. I see things like this. I'm showing you little bits of things. I'm saying, I remember I was there in the comic book industry when very similar people, when similar, people with similar politics.
Examples of what they did. You just make shit up. That's the bottom line.
Oh, I'm not making anything up. I'm showing. I actually show their film clips. I talk about their comments. I show their tweets. I'm not saying that. No. Hold on. I'm not saying they have canceled anybody. I said that about you. You canceled people. I said you canceled people. I said the Saska sisters are an awful lot. Their politics are aligned with what the people who I saw break into comics. And ended up canceling people. I said the politics are very similar. I said, watch out.
You're talking about politics. I see them as very unpolitical. I followed them on Twitter for 6 years. I don't see a goddamn thing about it.
They go to feminists and comics and entertainment events and point at signs that say women in feminism. What's feminism?
They go to all those events to promote
you walked into the buzzsaw, Gabe!
Where the fans are.
Oh, I don't see non-feminists going to feminist events. I don't see that and making a big deal of it.
Mainstream events too.
Okay. Well, anyway, enough about the Saska sisters. Are you willing to talk to Mersh? Yes or no?
I got no reason to talk.
I got no reason to talk to you, babe. I'm sorry, man. I appreciate your being here. This was a fun interview. I really appreciate your work on An Open Secret. But like I've established that you're somebody who likes to hurt people who believe things that I believe, and I got to protect myself from you.
Retaliate when somebody attacks me repeatedly.
I'm never going to attack you. That's not what I'm going to do. I respect your faith. That's not who I am. But you know what? I see what you've done. You've admitted to doing to conservatives, and I got to protect myself from you. And I don't want you coming around here and giving me a hard time and deciding that you don't like something I said and I think you're a racist or something like that, and then attacking my payment processes. I don't like that. I got no reason to talk to people like that.
Ow! We're not real conservatives. People who are real conservatives understand the importance of faith, practice faith.
I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree.
People on the basis of faith is real leftist identity politics down. If you have a criticism of me,
guys, getting reamed!
And you make that criticism. And again, it isn't the first time, the second time. Eventually,
Casino L as well. Wow.
These two people attacked me, included me on the basis of my faith. I finally said, you know what?
They can't even be bothered to do a show.
It didn't affect his money. The rest of his payment processors, it's literally none.
Gabe, did I treat you wrong here? Was I unfair to you? Okay.
You gave me my ability to respond. And, people can look on my Twitter. They can see the receipts. They can check out the timelines for themselves.
Bring in Mersh.
If the chat has any questions about any of that,
A Smaster 33 cent $2 on Rumble. This guy really is a street Jew. Talk about those here. Hess no Halsey.
All right, man. I appreciate your being here. I appreciate your being a stand-up guy and you know, talking to Ethan Ralph, at least, not Mersh for some reason. But I will. I'll hopefully see you around. Okay. Take care.
Yeah, your looks great, and I think it's going to do amazing. Thanks. Take care.
All right, there we go. Hey, Mersh.
There he is.
Hey, pal. How you doing? I was hoping to talk to my good pal Gabe, but
I know he said no.
Can I do something real quick? Just since he said he never got me canceled, real quick.
Sure.
I want to just go ahead and show you a little something here. He said I went after him for years before he hit back. This is from 2018. And I want you to see, look at that, huh? Please report the linked tweet, ethnic slur and targeting of producer Gabe Hoffman. He did this for a year straight until he finally got my YouTube nuked on my Twitter.
Your Twitter.
I want to correct the record on a couple other things. He seems to have, I don't know if Gabe, maybe you're drinking as much as I do nowadays, but he seemed to think, first of all, we had like no listeners when he hooked up with us. We had not many as we do now, but he said that we did a bunch of child sex assault videos. Then he hit
Anonymous
me up,
sent $5. Gabe is so low IQ but has insane confidence.
And he's like,
he needed this huge public L for a while.
He really did. CSA stuff we ever covered on ROTC, and it blew up. And this disingenuous little
Mersh,
worm,
could you turn your volume up or speak? I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on here.
I'm way up. I'm going to start over.
There you go. There you go. Right now.
This disingenuous worm saw our Dan Schneider movies, videos that were doing well. He glommed on to us because all he had was an open secret. Gabe doesn't want to talk about an open secret. He should really stop talking about it because, for one, the director hates his guts. She wants nothing to do with him.
Yes.
Everybody that was a part of that film wants
Yes, get it!
He sent lawyers to threaten Evan Henze,
yes!
an underage kid that was molested who went on into that movie to tell his story.
Get him!
They tried to use lawyers to bully him. The guy is a psychopath. We were not buddies for years. He didn't feel bad for us. He saw, oh, they're covering Dan Schneider. This will get the old algorithm going. And it was the first videos ROTC ever did that blew up was the Dan Schneider stuff. He glommed onto us. Then he started feeding me info like, hey, this guy's doing this guy's doing that. Hey, you know, you could say this about this. And then, you know, but then he would start doing sleazy shit like, you go after Corey Feldman and say this. It can't come from me, though. And that was like the first red flag where I'm like, why can't it come from you? Say it with your chest out. With the falling out, he was correct about the James Gunn thing. He contacted me because after a while, he just started treating us like we were his little, you know, his little foot soldiers.
Hoffman like, gutted like a fish.
This is the next thing. Get this going. Get this going. We're going. And he goes, we're going after James Gunn. And I was like, why? He said, well, you saw the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I see jokes. I see edgelord shit. I don't really see any evidence that he's hurting children, right?
Right.
And he's like, well,
I went through the same thing. Let me just take responsibility. Like, I saw those jokes and I went, I think this guy's up to no good. And I went for the same conclusions. I've apologized for that sense. I don't think that that's true. And, you know, I feel bad about it. So
we all make mistakes. It's one thing. But when I was countering with, hey, man, I see a lot of shitty jokes. I see a lot of stuff that's gross, but I don't see anything. I don't see a smoking gun. And I was like, and this is where the falling out began. It began when I said to him, when you don't want to do what he wants you to do, are trying to organize this cancel thing of James Gunn. You do realize that Michael Cernovich was arrested for rape and took a plea bargain. And he's like, those are just left-wing talking points. I'm like, no, it's a matter of record. He took a plea on a rape charge. Mike Cernovich used to write blogs about pulling his dick out on dates. When in doubt, whip it out was one of the blogs he wrote. I'm like, he's a sick dude. He's a disgusting guy. No, well, and then Gabe had a meltdown on me in private. I'll give him that much. And then, yeah, I went on a rant that night about how Gabe's a piece of shit. And I exposed.
Oh, it cut. No. No! Okay, let me refresh it. I don't know why YouTube's doing that.
Right there, but smoking gun, he says I never canceled Mersh, never once. Yeah, you've been trying for a long time, pal. And every time he gets his fees hurt, he runs off and tags Twitter safety and tags Team YouTube. And is this the kind of anti-Semite you want on your platform? Nah, dude, I don't think that Gabe is the dirtiest, sleaziest person in the sector. Everyone should treat him like a pariah and a leper. Because if you get involved with that guy, he will turn on you like a jilted ex-girlfriend. He'll do everything in his... All you got to do is look at his Twitter timeline. He's Mr. Cancel. He cancels more right-wingers than he does left-wingers.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was all like I was like, you know, every month or so I'll dunk on Patrick S. Tomlinson because it's fun. It's once a month. A mess. You know what I mean? But it's like his entire mentions were Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph. And I was like, there's something wrong with this dude. That he's like Ethan Ralph nonstop. Like that's not cool. Like I mean, you know, you want to make fun of Ethan Ralph once a week. I mean, but it's like many times a day, Ethan Ralph. So it just seemed kind of peculiar to me. I don't know what he was hoping to get from me, but I hope he got it.
He got
I'm not, guys. I'll talk to anyone. I will talk to absolutely anyone. I really will. But I mean, just be straightforward about what it is you're looking for, what you want to talk about. His thing was real.
Dude, he had lawyers reach out and threaten Evan Henze. He was a kid that they interviewed in
that's
an
what
open
I was bringing up earlier.
about what happened to him.
I'm glad he's hammering on that.
Forgive me, I can't remember if it was Marty Weiss or Brian Pack. I mean, I have an autistic memory of all this stuff too. I think it was Marty Weiss, but don't quote me. He came on, he told his story about this manager in Hollywood that took advantage of him when he was a kid. When the movie got completed, Evan had such a fucking bad taste in his mouth about Gabe. Gabe was like, we got to do press. You got to start doing appearances for the movie. And he's like, I don't really feel comfortable working with you anymore. I've met my obligations. And then I think Evan Henze went on another show to tell his story. And from what I understood, the beef was essentially, let me sum it up. Oy vey, we have the exclusive rights to your child sex assault story.
Literally.
And then some lawyers wrote back to him and were like, I have to pull up the letter. It's widely available on the internet. But the gist of the letter was, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that was basically the lawyer going, have you lost your fucking mind suing a victim of child sex assault? This dude is nuts, bro. He is unhinged.
Well, I wanted to give you
follow him for one day to see that.
Yeah, I know that, you know, I wanted to give you a chance to confront him or have him talk, but he refused to do it. And
you like how he's scared of me because he knows.
Yeah,
because he knows.
He was giving me the bok chicken thing I mean, I was like, you're not here to talk about like your movie. You want to talk about other stuff, you know, like. And he's like, if you're man enough. I was like, shit, dude. All right, fine, come on the show. So anyway,
Gabe is 5'2".
Yeah, this is live.
Like anyone is man enough.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture one time to dunk on me, and he's like, "Yeah, you're sitting home and alone while I'm out partying with a hot chick." And he's like 5'2", and he's got this arm around a woman who looked to be like 45 years old. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, you're killing it. Like, good for you, bro."
I wish him well. I wish
him nothing but the worst. Seriously, I wish nothing on Gabe Hoffman but pain.
Same.
And I want him to be ruined.
That's what I was.
Yeah. Gabe's as tall as EVS is wide, says Alfred. Nice. I know. It's so mean, dude.
Anyway, I got to do my show, but I just real quick plug. Nightwave Radio only on Rumble, thanks to Gabe Hoffman.
Nightwave Radio, also Revenge of the Sis, my favorite show.
You're awesome, dude. You're too nice to us.
Yeah, you guys are great. And you have a great night. Thank you, Mersh, for being here. I appreciate you.
Thanks for letting me say my piece, buddy.
You bet. Adios.
Thank you for watching this clip. This is the CACA Welfare. Remember to like and subscribe.